So one of the locomotives we're working on right now, both the people in the shop and the volunteers, and we have a subcontractor working on it, is what we call the 6780, or sometimes it's referred to as the 800. So that locomotive is going through a complete refurb. The wiring was all pulled out of it from its original wiring. It's all been rewired and updated. Part of the update included putting a new brake set on it to bring it up to standards for today's railroads. We've gone through, we redid the inside of the cab, put a new floor in, put a new control console in it, painted it, put a new brake system on it. So it's going through its final assembly right now, and hopefully we'll have it back out operational on the train in the next few weeks. So it's been a long process, but well worth it.
We started with the locomotive. It was out of service. We stripped out all the old electrical wiring, all the old electrical components, contactors, relays, resistors, stuff like that. Same thing for the air brake system. Pulled out the old control stand, pulled out the old air brake valves, pulled out all the old air brake piping, replaced it with new, upgraded it from the older control system to a more modern control system where we get a longer service life out of the brake valves between, needing to swap them out for rebuilt valves. They're also more user friendly. We did away with the old system of having to use coolant off the engine through a radiator to heat the cab. Now we've upgraded it to the electric cab heaters. We've upgraded to, a more modern control stand. Any place where we could do an update or an upgrade, we did. About the only thing that we did not do to these locomotives, 6777 and 6780, is install air conditioning. Those take all the inputs from the throttle and from everything else, like the governor, and then they control the excitation output. So they keep our horsepower at a constant curve. So we've got our big power switches down here that's what connects the main generator to the traction motors. So we start out kind of in first gear electrically.
Right.
So we have S1 and then S21 that those pick up. And we get up to about 18 miles an hour. Our field shunting contactors right there pull in. That gets us up to 24 miles an hour, and then that stuff drops out. And then P1, and then P2, P3, P4 pick up. So we change gears electrically so we can continue to accelerate. This locomotive, the way that it's geared, I think this is good for about 89 miles an hour. Wow. When I do a rework like this, I just call it Operation Clean Slate. Everything gets pulled out. Every single inch of wire, and you start with a clean slate. Same thing for the air brake system. All the valves, everything was stripped out. The nose was completely emptied out. And then I'll go up here and open the door so you can see. So this is the lum rack. This is the other half of the air brake system. You can see our 1/2-inch lines coming in. That takes the control signals from the control stand, comes down here. We control all these valves. Everything on here has a purpose. Like this is the relay valve that handles the volume of air from the main reservoir to the brake cylinders. This right here is the 26F control valve. That's what automatically sets up your locomotive brakes when you set up your train brakes. This valve right here is A1 charging. If the train goes into emergency, that cuts off your air, so you're not wasting your air, so you can recover quicker. Over here, P2A valve. It's a penalty application valve. We don't have a dead man pedal on this, as you do on older locomotives. We have an electronic vigilance alarm. So on a random interval, it'll start flashing, then it'll start beeping. It's controlled by this box up here on the wall. If the engineer does not respond, the system will take action to bring the train to a safe stop. Also in that orange box, it's an event recorder. On an airplane, it's the same thing as a black box. Records all the data. Then, heaven forbid if there's something terrible happened, they can always pull that data and they can see what went wrong. So that all this stuff is all new that was put in. So yeah, we pull out everything. Pull out the old air brake system, pull out the old electrical system, put in new stuff.